Good evening and welcome to Edessa, the Dark Crusade. We once again find ourselves in and around Madeline's Haven. The water damage of the flood that came and went fairly quickly, but still has left some marks. It can still be seen in the streets, relatively near the haven and around the river, but the worst of it has passed. But tonight, Madeline is doing what she normally does. She's studying, uh, working in her study, and is about to get a visit from her partner, roommate, husband. You fill in the blank.
Yeah, actually, Thorvald, instead of doing he's actually been, Thorvald is well established that Madeline wakes up earlier, but he's actually, ferreting about behind you this morning, with papers and books. Nothing sacred of Madeline's. He doesn't touch her, like, do not touch books. But he's trying. It's clear that he's possessed by some sort of idea.
Hmm.
He sits down at the table, not at the desk, and just starts scribbling away.
This will pique Madeline's interest. She will just sit there for a moment, just put down whatever she's reading, just look on for a moment, and she'll just say, "So, do you have something that you are, why, something you are working on currently, or is this a new project? I cannot say that I have seen you this active in scribbling down things for a long time."
For a while, like for a few seconds, he doesn't answer her. He just carries on writing as if he needs to concentrate quite hard. You know from previous experience that Thor's not. He learned to read and write later in life, so he's not as well practiced at it as Madeline is.
Hmm.
Just what I know so far about the murders, which isn't much, but I'm trying to work things out. Trying to prevent another death.
Hmm. Of someone we know?
No, but on my own, I can't combat this demon. But maybe I can combat his thralls, stop
Hmm.
them killing. If I can just work out. But there's pieces missing. I need to gain access to. It's a work in progress.
Hmm. Well, it might be the case, but certainly that would be quite hard to find all of them. Infernalists have a very good track record for hiding themselves.
So do you.
She smiles.
Didn't see
Oh?
didn't see you hide nor hair of you the last few days.
Hmm.
You vanished into the night when the storm struck.
Oh, I was still there, making certain that the people trying to get into the merchants' district was, well, discouraged. I pulled some of them away from me.
He looks up at her.
I was still there. I did not disappear. I was just under the water and very, very hard to see.
I was worried. He scribbles again.
Hmm.
Be a perfect time for something like that to attack. In the middle of chaos.
Which was why I was there, to look if there was any non-natural elements to this storm. But once I determined that that was not the case, I thought it was prudent to make certain people discouraged from breaking in towards oh the place that we frequent. And with that, well, you might have been worried, but you know well enough not to be worried.
I suppose we have Margot to play heroine.
That and many other roles.
Thor raises a brow at that. I'm gonna pee and eat that, actually.
Madeline doesn't seem to be hiding anything. She just looks at him. She is a committed diablerist. She is a committed infernalist. And is under certain scrutiny, certain controls to make sure that she is not free to do whatever she wants, whether she is under the thrall of something that is not us and something that is not herself. So yes, she plays some roles that one would expect of a person like her, and some other roles that these coming nights might be quite different for her.
Explain.
One of us might have to pacify her. She has a bond with a demon, a powerful one. If it turns out that she has been bound to it, then it can only interfere with this world through her. One might have to put her to final death at some point. To stop this influence.
Sec roll. One feeble success.
Febo!
Thorvald can barely contain his displeasure. He looks away from me.
Unless, of course, you would rather fight against the demon yourself. You know what that is like and how unlikely any of us are to survive such an encounter.
I've already had to say goodbye to one friend because of these things.
Which is why you should support my plan. which is not necessarily to kill her, but to pacify her should the situation call for it, and move her to a secure place. One thing I tried to do earlier, but failed in.
She lets me closer than she lets you.
Something to consider.
I've seen no signs of evil in her. Quite the contrary.
Quite. But our senses, even helped by the beast, can be dissuaded from seeing what they should see, or fooled outright.
I'm not fooled.
If you believe that, you have already taken the step closer to being fooled. If you believe that you cannot or are not fooled.
There's one thing I know, Madeline is a devious woman. You can count me an expert in it. Margot is not such.
Hmm.
It's not her nature. But I do not deny that the demon may be able to take control of her, as it did Johanna.
And then I hope you do not have to make the decision.
You can count on one thing, my love, and that is that I make no decisions in this city. Save that of my decisions of my own honour.
Regardless, were you to take the decision to spare her and let the demon run loose, I would hope you would. She doesn't finish that.
He puts the pen down, not the pen, he puts the quill down, and he turns. Do you know me? I think you do. What is it I value above all things?
She goes over to him, and you don't need to roll anything to see that she's about to almost say or suggest that the answer would be her. But she doesn't say that.
He seems very serious right now.
Mm. Your honor in protecting those who need protection.
My honour in upholding the rights of traditions and the laws of our society and protecting our kind.
Mm-hmm.
That is my greatest concern. If Margot becomes a liability to that, you need not question for one moment my hesitation on the matter.
Very well. These are not easy topics to talk about, brush. I do not wish to pressure you. I would merely state that these are them. Well,
Let's not pretend.
mistakes.
Let's not pretend that I am not weakened by a pretty face. I
As
have.
long as you say that yourself.
I have my flaws, I know this.
Hmm.
But duty always becomes before passion.
Tell
How
me,
would if you were the infernalist, Madeline?
then I hope you would not respect me as much as you do. Because then I would be a fool. Not the person you have learned and shared so much with.
Margot was enjoyable. But ultimately, sometimes sacrifices have to be made, as much as it pains me.
Hmm.
And it would pain me. But we'll have to cross that bridge when we come to it.
Or when the river and the bridge come to us. But yes, we should focus on other things.
The storm was a sign from God that things are going to change.
Hmm.
Nature often gives us warnings in these ways. There needs to be a shift. I know where the power in Riverside lies. Not that I can do much about it at the moment, at least not until I have a solid plan. For all these bits of information, and yet, once again, I am cuckolded.
And what do you mean what you say with that you know something of Riverside?
He looks at her. I know the piece I need to remove to lift the curfew.
Hmm. That is interesting. A strong piece?
Yes,
Hmm. One of our kind?
yes. He just looks to his writing and he says, as with anything, most of our trouble turns back to snakes.
Well, there are many kinds of snakes. But it does seem that that is a common problem.
I'm hoping. I was hoping that Margot wouldn't have to be removed.
Well,
It's going to delay some things I had in place.
well, the demon might not need her anymore. She might be safe.
Sometimes I don't know. I wonder what I'll make all these efforts for. Am I bounded by my own ego?
I think all of our kind is to a certain extent.
My life is quite a muddled affair.
Hmm. It has been looking up the last I saw.
Really?
You have
Still
two.
no. What was she going to say?
You have two quite beautiful women who both love you in their own way.
4 at my count.
Why? I suppose. Does that not make you feel that your life has become better?
No. In some ways, yes, and in some ways, no. Of course, I can. What weight does my prowess in the bedchamber hold with me at court?
A little.
He actually chuckles. She manages to make
You
it.
might be surprised. It might hold for more than you think. At the right time, at the right circumstance. But this is why I have stressed that even though you cannot hold position, you should at least polish and sharpen your tongue, your words, your mind as much as you can.
I suppose I grow impatient.
Hmm. Do you wish to include me in your plan for Riverside? Or is this a secret?
I always wish to include you, much to my disdain. Except I don't really have a plan yet. The obsidian viper needs to be removed. But how? He has a large retinue, a lot of gold, and significant power with the gangs in the area. This doesn't make
But
him impossible to remove,
hmm, does
but
not have immunity from the laws.
no. But involving human law, which is a breach, and involving canine law is tricky.
Hmm,
Snakes are slippery.
they are.
I've met him enough times to know that he is a man who's very used to slipping out of situations. My wit is not as honed as he.
And yet he is, by the sound of it, quite deeply involved in Riverside. This would leave a few openings for one to exploit.
Depends whether or not I want to become a leader in his place.
It would be possible.
I'm not comfortable with that role.
Well,
You know I like a quiet life.
hmm.
That's why I'm with you.
You know that some people would consider those two diametrically opposed.
He's almost, he's grinning. It's obvious that he's teasing.
Hmm. Would you step into his place
If I
if you were
must.
to eliminate him or get him out of the way?
If I must. If it was a way to gain control and resume order, yes. I am no king of thieves, though.
Perhaps you would finally put the old expression to rest. No honor amongst thieves. Perhaps you would instill some.
He cranes his head towards her. Um, an interesting gesture. Where is she stood in the room at the moment?
She's standing fairly close to him,
Mm.
just out of arm's reach.
He just sort of cranes his head. He sort of leans his head towards her slightly.
And she will come around, just put her hands on his shoulders.
It's like touching a statue, basically. He's kind of like. He stiffens up. There's quite a lot going on in his facial features at the moment. There's a little bit of a mix. Uh, you find me at as lost for words as usual.
Hmm. You can take your time.
I do not know. Any case, what would you do?
With regards to,
The Viper.
hmm,
I don't want him to know what I'm doing. He may come after the girls.
hmm. In that case, I would find someone who shares your and, well, his occupation. Perhaps Margot, perhaps others. Tell them that this is a problem for the both of you, and he needs to be dealt with. In that sense, you can get someone else to investigate and bear the brunt of it.
Thorwald feels the sort of, as usual, the turmoil's going on between the person he was and who he is. It's kind of a weird disconnect. He finds himself fluctuating between passion and coldness, which is challenging for him. It's very he's not quite sure what brings it out in him, the coldness.
If you find more than one, if you stand 2 or 3 together, more than one clan, well, then you would have certain amount of people who would confront his Setites, begin to make sure that his girls are better paid elsewhere, or the clientele begins to seek elsewhere, or that his endeavors in Riverside are stopped. Perhaps his specific people or associates are hassled and harassed more by the City Watch than yours are.
I'm sure it can be arranged. It'd be much easier to just go and plant my fist in his skull.
But you would be breaking a rule
What
of
rule?
law. And what you want him to do is become desperate and break the blood of, well, the silence of the blood, or something to that effect. If he does that, he would be in a more problematic situation, and if he is that, then, well, you would either have to move, or you would be able to go after him and demand blood for his crimes, or you could legally limit to where he can do business, since he cannot be trusted to keep certain things secret.
Sometimes I wish I could just lay down in your mind, as if it was a throne of pillows.
Well, you get close enough. You are in there quite often. She smiles to him.
Colour me fooled by your frequent cold distance.
Mm. Cold distance?
You're as changeable as I am.
I have many things, but in affairs such as this, it's not too often I get called cold. I suppose I can understand.
Some chains will remain forever attached.
Mm.
Despite recent decisions, you have the power, and you know.
Quite a few.
There's no one that delights me as much as you do.
That is good to hear.
In fact, I find my conversations with others sometimes barely palatable in comparison.
This is getting better, and this is quite flattering. Please continue.
You've ensnared me into flattery.
And I enjoy every second of it.
It's a dangerous, slippery path into the L word, which will make us both vomit. He grins playfully.
Yes, such horrible things. Neither of us can stomach. She
Never.
kisses him.
He's sort of halfway through saying something else when she does. But he stops and kisses her back.
She sits on his lap, parts away, and she just says, "Oh, I am sorry, I got distracted. What were you saying?"
Mm. He leans his head into her neck for a few seconds and then manages to just about focus on the sprawling papers in front of him. What do you know about these murders?
Ah,
They're ritualistic in fashion.
they're connected to the infernalists.
Do you know how they were killed?
No,
No.
but the Merchant of Bones seemed to suggest as such.
A lot of people in the city are good at saying things without saying it.
It is called politics.
I don't think I'll ever enjoy it.
Some do, but most of those who do are
He
frightfully boring.
he comes to the sheriff's office to say something and says nothing we don't already know. If he knows about the nature of these bodies, why does he not tell us? So that we might not use this information to plot out the course of how these creatures
He did tell
defile.
us a lot.
Hmm. I'm not sure whether I should be focusing on preserving human life and the veil, or just hunting down these infernalists straight away.
My suggestion: hunt down infernalists. That will save quite a few lives of the kind. Very many, to be honest.
I've spent a great deal of time around Margot, and I'm not entirely sure that I feel comfortable sitting on top of a demon-worshipping pit. However pretty her company may be.
Right. You can still keep your distance and have a relationship or work with her. You do not need to stay at her place.
Oh, I haven't stayed there, but my curiosity is begging me to go and inspect this place.
Hmm.
We have been in places of sanctity where I've experienced things I would not fear, but I only wish to understand. I was made to be a slave, to be a fighter. My brain was not honed for these things, and yet it yearns to develop.
Would you
But
not say I have helped you in this?
you have. I see my vocabulary, at least. And my some of my perceptive skills have changed.
Good.
I'm better at concealing myself than I was at first. Though around you, I'm as naked as the day I was born. Such is the way of things.
Why, you cannot struggle against the inevitable.
And yet watch me try.
Why? Is there anything else you would like to discuss? I do have a few things I need to see to.
No. I have prayed long enough in the temple of your brain. I must be content with what I've been given for the hour and let you go back to your tasks.
She stands up, just puts her arms above her head, and she just says, "Go in peace."
Thorvald thinks about throwing her onto the table just to set aside her false piety in the moment, but he does not.
Madeline will get back to some of her duties. She seems to be going out tonight. She has told you that it's probably something to do with some of the merchants who are still having a little bit of extra work, but nothing earth-shattering.
As Madder's leaving, she sees a messenger come, and Thorvald will, in the process of her getting ready to go out, she'll see him going to see to the horses. So it's likely he's going places as well.
And with that, I do believe that the scene will come to a close. Thank you very much, players, for playing, and watchers for watching. Good night.